I want you to see something. I want it to be in context. Verse 20. Are you talking? Verse 20 says, so David rose early in the morning, left the sheep with the keeper, and took the things and went to as Jesse had commanded him. And he came to the camp of the army, where they were going out to fight, and shouting for battle. For Israel and the Philistines had drawn up in battle array, army against army. And David left his supplies in the hand of the supply keeper, ran to the army, and came and greeted his brothers. Then he talked with them. There was what's this next word? There was a what? I can't hear you. There was a what? There was a champion. The Philistine of Gath, Goliath by the name, coming up from the armies of the Philistines, and he spoke according to the same words. So David heard them, and all the men of Israel, when they saw the man, they fled from him and were dreadfully afraid. So the men of Israel said, have you seen this man who has come up? Surely he has come up to defy Israel. And it shall be that the man who kills him, meaning Goliath, the king will enrich with great riches. He will give him his daughter and give his father's house exemption from taxes in Israel. Now look down at verse number 34. But David said to Saul, your servant used to keep his father's sheep, and when a lion, the Detroit Lions, and the Chicago Bears, I'm sorry, I thought that's what they said, but when the Lions and the Bears, where's Teacher Sharmy? Just want her to know that Lions got beat up. Teacher Sharmy's from Detroit. And they're like the worst team ever in football. They're like the worst team ever in life. But anyway, so when a lion came and the Chicago Bears came, he said he took a lamb out of the flock. They took a lamb and went out after it and struck it and delivered the lamb out of his mouth. And when he arose against me, David said, I caught it by its beard. I struck it and I killed it. Your servant has killed both the lions and the bears. And this uncircumcised Philistine will be like one of them, seeing he has defiled the armies of the living God. Moreover, David said, the Lord has delivered me from the paw of the lion and the paw of the bear. He will deliver me from the hand of Philistine. And Saul said to David, go, and the Lord be with you. I want you to look next to you at your neighbor. Look right up in the face and say, neighbor, let's talk about champions. Simple as that. Champions. Look at somebody else and say, let's talk about champions. I don't know if anybody's ever seen this. When I was a little boy, football was my favorite sport. And I had, now these are the originals, I had football men. This happens to be one of my Chicago Bears. Has anybody ever seen these little men? Anybody ever seen the vibrating football board? Brothers, you remember these? We played, me and my brother and my cousins had a football league. We played with these little football men for hours. Every Saturday, my mama would take me over to my cousin's house. Me and my brother would grab our bags or our box, because I had mine in a box. In fact, I left the box at home. I just brought the bag. We would grab our football men and we would go over to my cousin's house. And for 2 or 3 hours, we would do nothing but play on this electric football field. You would plug it up, you press the little button, and the football field would vibrate. And when when the football field would vibrate, when you put the football man on there, the football man would actually move. Y'all remember these? They would actually move. And so we spent hours. We had a league. My cousin, my brother and I, we had a house league. So our teams worked together. And then we would play against my cousins and some of their friends in the neighborhood. Now I had this one particular set of cousins. It was about 14 of them. But the kids that I played with, it was Danny, Jeffrey, Stevie. So the three boys and then some of their friends. So it would be about 7 or 8 guys in the basement or in their bedroom, wherever we had room. And I had a football field, my brother had a football field, my cousins had a football field, and we would bring our football fields over, and we would line them up, and we would just play all day, a tournament, until we got to the Super Bowl. Now, I had several teams. This is the San Francisco 49ers. My brother, if he wanted a team, or if you wanted a team, you could actually trade teams. But they would also we had to pay money. This is true. We had to pay each other money to get the team. If we weren't going to trade a team, we had to pay for the team. It'll be like something like $10. So I'll be asking my mom, can I have $10? And she'd be like, what you going to do with it? I got to get a team. And she'd be like, boy, you buying football teams? So we would actually buy these little guys off of other people, or we would order them through the mail. I remember when I got my first order through the mail, it was the, back then they were, what were they, St. Louis Rams? The Rams. I don't remember who Rams they were. But I got my first order in the mail, and man, I was so excited because my football team came in. How did I get all of these? Eventually, if you don't trade and your brother grows up and your brother leaves the house to go to school, you get more football men. And so I got more football men. And I had this big leagues, and me and my friends in the neighborhood, we played. And my cousin Danny had to be like 17 years old, and he was still playing with these. It was a big thing. And one of the things that was so exciting about it is when we played, whoever's team would win the most, by the end of the year, you would have a championship game. You would have the Super Bowl. And it usually was on today, like today, it was usually on the Super Bowl. And before the Super Bowl would come on TV, we would play the vibrating football Super Bowl game. And usually it was not, I'm just going to be honest, it was not my team. I think I won 1 year. But, we played for years, and I didn't win. But I still got my men. And I ain't ashamed to say I'm going out to get a football board in about a week. And because they still sell these football. I don't know if y'all know these. They still sell these football boards. Have you seen one? They still sell these. So if you're looking for one, we